Welcome everyone. As this week is observed as Eating Disorders Awareness Week, we felt it was important to have a conversation, not just about eating disorders as a clinical condition, but everything that surrounds them. I'm Leslie Verghese, psychologist at Kring.
And I'm Alita, consultant psychologist at Kring.
So Alita, what exactly are eating disorders?
So, eating disorders is a type of illness, a type of condition where individuals experience to have a very unhealthy relationship with food, their eating patterns, and generally that happens when they do have a very dysfunctional um, preconceived notion about themselves, about their body, that leads them to have a very bad eating style in general.
And many people assume that eating disorders are just a phase or these are attention seeking behaviors or it's just a vanity. But that's not true. These are serious illnesses that can have an impact on both physical and mental health. There are different types of eating disorders. There is anorexia nervosa, where a person that is severely restricts their food intake due to the fear that they'll gain weight. And then there is bulimia nervosa, where a person overeats and then engages in compensatory behaviors like purging or exercise.
And there's binge eating disorder where individuals tend to overeat and they're not able to have that sense of control when it comes to okay, I'm full, I need to stop eating. And sometimes or generally it is usually associated with some strong emotions where anxiety, stress, that tend to lead them to have more amount of foods than required. And it has also been noticed that individuals tend to pick up food items that's very fatty, saturated, or it and maybe high sugar content food items. And then what tends to happen is obviously obesity and other health and cardiac issues. So these are the different types of eating disorders that are in and around.
Yeah, to add on to that, it is when individuals experience stress or anxiety that they engage in this binge eating behaviors, because they feel that when life is not in control, at least they have something in their control, like food. Food is something they can control.
That those individuals who have a very unhealthy eating pattern, what tends to happen is definitely it's how they perceive themselves that contribute to having very unhealthy eating styles, right? And generally that perception of themselves is due to having a very low self-esteem. They don't see themselves or they don't perceive themselves as good, or they cannot comprehend themselves as okay, I am in a better position. And
exactly, as research says that individuals who are experiencing or who suffer from anorexia nervosa, so they tend to see their body as very fat, and then that doesn't happen with other people. They don't have that distorted perception for other people's body, but only for themselves. So
and also the fact that when they have a low self-esteem and that tends to lead them to unhealthy eating patterns, then again that leads them to have because of their body image concerns, it again brings them back to a loop of having further down low self-esteem. So it's like a loop. They're always stuck in a loop of because of low self-esteem, unhealthy eating pattern, and again low self-esteem, and then again they go back to having their unhealthy eating style. So
exactly. On top of that, we get comments from our friends, relatives, and the pressure from social media as well to look a certain way, and only certain body types are celebrated while others are neglected.
True. And also, as you mentioned about social media, I mean, now the teenagers, adolescents, and young adults, are pretty much in the social media, in the gram. So the content they watch and they perceive and how they take those contents is also very crucial when it comes to how they perceive their body image, how they perceive themselves in front of others, how they take in comments and everything. So all of that also matters.
Have you noticed, like during certain phase, a certain body type is celebrated, and after that it changes. So people are literally confused on which body type or shape to be in. So that creates a confusion, and they tend to either overeat or undereat to look a certain way. We live in a world that constantly wants our body to be changed, to be altered, toned. Yeah.
True. And also, sometimes being in a culture, in an Indian culture, we definitely receive comments from our relatives, from our family members during events. And the strange thing or the funny thing is that a lot of these we might not even realize that these remarks or these comments are made would really impact the person. But then so far at Kring, when we see clients who experience issues with their body image, the way they see themselves, and when we look back after a couple of sessions, what we realize is how much of those comments that they might have heard from a friend of theirs or from a family member has really impacted the way they perceive themselves. And that really that realization for them was also has shaken their beliefs, like, okay, but that was just a very silly comment, but I didn't realize that that comment made me feel so bad about the way I see myself.
Exactly. It didn't just start in a span of a moment. It started from childhood, right? These people, they hear from their relatives, they say, oh, you look fat, or that dress will not suit you.
There's also this thing where people feel that eating disorders or this sort of a very bad eating pattern is generally seen in girls, but the fact is it's very much common in men as well, right?
Exactly. When we talk about eating disorders, everyone imagine a very thin young woman or a very obese woman. Men are never considered in eating disorders. But the interesting fact that around 20 to 50% of men are suffering from binge eating disorders. And what else? So to talk about men, so that case is literally different from women. So when women idolizes their thin self, men want to become muscular. It is so men don't even realize that they are experiencing or they are in eating disorder, because it is often seen under an image they are either disciplined or they are working out so much to look a certain way.
And also the fact that sometimes it's so difficult for those individuals to come up and say they're having this kind of unhealthy eating pattern also. So when you realize that when you notice among your peer groups, among your family members, I mean, during those moments, instead of saying, oh, you don't eat only at all, it's been days that you have been eating on this stuff, but I think during those moments what they really require is somebody to validate their feelings and sit along with them and accept it. Because eating disorder is not something that probably it's not something a lot of you might know. And that's the reason why we thought at Krink, during this eating disorders awareness week, that we would want to educate you guys about how this really portrays in an individual's life.
Exactly. And then there's blame, right? Individuals just like to blame others. They just think that eating habits and how a person looks, they believe that it is something entirely in their control, but it is not. And so because of this blame and shame, people don't get the necessary help they want. They don't feel safe enough to reach out for help. So to conclude that, if you're someone who is struggling with eating disorders, or if you love or know someone who is struggling with eating disorders, it's okay if you don't know what to say to them, but be there without judgment and accept them for who they are, and help yourself and your loved ones to reach out for help.
And we hope this helped you out.
Thank you.